Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Probity Lifestyle Podcast. My name is Melissa Prochuk, and this is my handsome husband, Janusz Prochuk. How are you today?
I'm doing really well. I'm enjoying, it's a bit of a cloudy, overcast day, but
It is, but it's a perfect weather day to do a podcast. So
it is.
Today's episode we know is going to bless a lot of you. And it's probably the episode that you didn't know that you needed until you listen to this today, because it's all about just starting, going for the thing that you've always been wanting to do. And now we're not just talking about your fitness and health goals in today's episode. We're talking about the big dreams that you have, the big goals that you have that you keep pushing aside every year. We hope that this episode really encourages you to go after those dreams today.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're here for today, because this is all about just doing it now. You know, a lot of people, they have goals, they have tasks, they have things at work that they know they need to do, and we honestly spend double or even triple of the time thinking about doing the thing rather than actually just doing the thing. And so one of the best things you can do for productivity is to stop thinking, get out of your head, and just get into your body, like take action. Because again, if you just do the thing, you're going to be saving 2, 3, even 4 times the brain space.
Yes.
In just thinking about having to do the task. And that's kind of why we're in here today. Like it's really hot in here. You're probably going to see us start sweating halfway through the podcast. It's like midday. We've left it to 1 o'clock at the moment. It's like peak heat in the gym right now. But we're just in here just getting it done because we're like, you know what? Let's just record this podcast, get it off our brain. Otherwise, we're going to spend majority of the day thinking about it. And then that's what leads to a lot of people feeling overwhelmed. And it's not because they're overwhelmed because of the amount of tasks they have. It's because they're overwhelmed of all the things they're thinking about having to do. Where if you just pick one and just do it, it's done. It's off your list and you can just get it done.
Yeah, I love that. And something that I always say to myself whenever I'm procrastinating or thinking way too much about a certain task or a dream that I want to go after is don't think, just do. And of course, we have to think about things and make sure we plan things. But a lot of the time, we need to just start and do the thing and learn along the way. And I was telling Janusz before of a quote that we really love from a different podcast that we listen to. And they talk about imagining you get up to heaven one day and you're talking to God about your life and he shows you what you were capable of, like what you were destined to become pretty much. And you hope that when, God goes through all the things that you were supposed to achieve, that number one, that you have achieved all those things. And number two, you're pretty much looking in a mirror at the person that you were supposed to become. You would hate to look at the person you were supposed to become that God's showing you, and it looks like a stranger. Like they look like they're someone who have achieved everything they've wanted to achieve. And you're like, oh, I spent my whole life worrying what people thought about me. I spent my whole life procrastinating and saying one day I'll start doing that when timing is perfect. And instead, you could have just started, learned along the way, and lived the life that you've actually always wanted to live. Because when you realize that you're responsible for your life and we all only have one life to live, you start to really think, oh, wow, I actually need to make a change. I don't actually have to live the life that I'm currently living if I'm not really liking it. I can change it anytime and go after these dreams. We are not cemented into the ground. We can change at any time.
Yeah, I love that. I love imagining like just going up into heaven, seeing your reflection and then recognizing them and realize like, wow, actually, I do look a lot like my max potential. Like this is what I could have been. Because it's just, God has all these hopes and dreams for us that he wants us to step into. And a lot of the time it's our own insecurities, our own fear, our own, we talk about that the enemy sometimes attacks you. He gets in your mind. He makes you feel like you're insecure, feel like you're nothing, feel like you're worthless, to like take out essentially your possibility of what you could become.
Yeah.
Because God has this like amazing future that he's laid ahead of you. He's like, hey, I love you so much. I want you to step into these things. I've prepared you for these things. And a lot of the time it's just our own insecurities in our own minds, unqualifying, like disqualifying yourself from being able to even allow yourself to comprehend stepping into those possibilities. And so one of the best things that we've done is like just starting this podcast. Like we thought about it for
5 years.
For ages. And it's like what I said at the start, right? A lot of the time, just doing the task is way shorter than how much time you spend in your own mind thinking about doing the task. So whatever it is that's on your mind right now, that in your heart, like God's put it in your heart, he's he talks to us like day to day through kind of your anxieties a little bit, through not saying that God gives you anxiety, but that's like the calling of your own heart telling you, hey, there's something that you should be focusing on that you're not focusing on.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And so instead of just being like, oh, I'm always so anxious, it's like, what if you're so anxious because you know deep down that you're avoiding all of these tasks and things and callings on your life that you're not stepping into?
That's such a good point. Do you think it has a lot to do with how you've been raised and the community that you've been brought up into? So for example, if you've been brought up in a community where most people may just settle for life and just go after the things that everyone else is doing, do you feel like that really impacts people?
Yeah, 100%. Like
Yeah.
we've talked about in a previous podcast, maybe 2 or 3 ago, the impact in community and how important it is having people around you who are all stepping into like their best version of themselves. Like you don't have to hang around people who are all doing the same thing.
No.
Like, but what you want to hang around is people who are all having momentum, who are all having that energy where you feel like, oh, they're moving forwards with their life. They're stepping into things. Let's all step into things together and encourage each other, inspire each other to be the best versions of ourselves. Like to wish on your friend to be the best version that they can be, to wish on your mum to be the best version that they can be, and to just encourage and inspire people to, or not just people, but to encourage and inspire each other to all step into the things that we should be stepping into.
Yeah, I love that. And you will see when you're listening to this podcast that we have just got back from a conference we're about to go to.
Yeah.
And we're excited to go to this business conference in Queensland because we love surrounding ourselves with, like you said, it doesn't have to be people in the exact same business as us, but it's people who aspire to follow God's plan for them and think bigger and not diminish themselves and not think, oh, who am I to go after something like that? We are always trying to surround ourselves with people that encourage us, that celebrate our wins. And we know when we're telling them our wins or our losses, they are people who, can celebrate us, but also bring us out of that hole if we feel like we're in one. I feel like we're not really around anyone that if we told them something wasn't going well, they would be happy for that. And I think another point, going off one of the other points you said before, is when you feel triggered by someone else's success, I feel like that's God speaking to you going, you're triggered and jealous because you also want to be doing that thing. So really think deeply today about the things that you have been triggered by recently maybe and go, okay, like why am I jealous of that certain person doing that certain thing, like achieving a certain thing? And maybe that's something I internally have to look into with God and go, okay, maybe this is something I actually want to achieve, or maybe it's reminding me of something completely different that I want to achieve, but maybe I'm not putting the work into it. Because I feel people struggle to step in and just start because sometimes the big task and dream they want to achieve seems so overwhelming because there's so much that goes into it. I know for myself, when I don't have clarity, I feel a bit overwhelmed and I want to procrastinate. So I think the biggest thing is just starting. And like you said before with this podcast, I remember we were thinking, I was thinking, we can't start until we're in a perfect podcast studio like all the other podcasts we listen to. Yeah. And maybe we should hire a place. Maybe we should do this and that and get really perfect cameras on each angle to get really good footage of everything. And I remember when we got back, it was that day in Bondi at the start of this year. Yeah. We were just, like you said, you're like, let's just go home today after Bondi, get our laptops out, I'll get the white table out, and let's just start. And if it's terrible, we won't post it, but let's just start. And it wasn't our bet. Oh, I think it was pretty good, but I feel now that this is the 12th.
You guys be the judge. If you haven't heard our first podcast yet, go back, listen to the first podcast and let us know.
No.
How did we go?
In the first episode, I was doing this a lot. I'm like, and like I would speak a lot like that. And I've learned over time to, not do some certain things. Yeah, just take your time. But it's all about learning. And if we didn't start the podcast 12 episodes ago, I would still be thinking, oh man, like we put it on our vision board again. We really should just start. Yeah. It's all about just starting. Like this is not a professional setup, but you're still getting blessed with the things that we're saying. Or well, we hope.
Yes. There was 2 things that I really loved that you said. Like firstly, that quote about like jealousy.
Yep.
I think it was Mel Robbins that I absolutely loved that quote when I was reading one of her books. And it was that jealousy, whenever you're feeling that emotion of jealousy, it's revealing your hidden desires.
Oh, that's
so
good.
Sometimes you don't know that it's a desire, but the reason that you're getting jealous might be because what that person's achieving is something that you want to achieve as well. Or it may not be that you're jealous of, maybe you look at them and you're like, but I don't want that thing that they're achieving. But maybe it's the fact that they're going for something that they really want. And then you know that you've got things that you really want that you're not achieving. And so that's where I like to think of jealousy and reframe that as like, oh, okay, what about this is making me jealous? What's stirring this in my spirit right now? And like, what's causing me to want to take action? And instead of just feeling jealous and just sitting with that emotion of jealousy, it's like, can we then flip it and recognize, okay, there might be some areas in my life that I want to take action in, that I want to achieve in. And then you can start stepping into those.
Such a good point.
The other thing, yeah. I loved how you were saying that sometimes our dreams and our visions and our goals can be so big and just seem so out of reach that it can just be like, where do I even start? And it just reminded me in the Bible, in Proverbs, it talks about that we can have our plans, but the Lord will determine our steps. And so what that means, it's a bit confusing when you first hear it, but it's like we can, in our hearts and our minds, we can create our plans, our desires, what we want to achieve, but then God, he will determine the individual steps along the way. So I always like to set goals loosely, knowing that, okay, the goal that I'm setting, that's the direction I want to go, but the exact steps that I take to get there, the exact plan that I'm going to take to get there, I'm open to changing as long as it's in the direction of my goal. So God's gracious to us where he allows us to have our plans, and he's not like, oh, you have to do X, Y, Z because that's my plan for you. The Bible talks about, no. You get to make your plans. You get to have your desires, and God will work alongside with you to determine the steps along the way. But he's not going to lay out like an 8-step plan for you to start taking action. Because he knows us. He knows that we get overwhelmed, that we're just going to get crushed by our own dreams and desires if we have like an 8-step plan of like, you have to go through all of this to achieve my goal. Nah, you know what? I don't want my goal anymore.
Do you know what's funny though is a lot of people will say, they'll believe that Bible passage, which is such a powerful passage, but they'll be like, oh good, God's got my plan. I don't need to do anything. And it's like, no. Like God doesn't just go, all good, I'll take care of everything. You actually still need to take action and take steps because you may make the wrong decisions here and there. But what I always remind myself, and I truly believe this, is God, if it's meant for you from God, it will work out. But you have to take some steps so God can keep directing you and guiding you back onto that path. So even if you do make a mistake and maybe you steer to the left a little bit where it's a little bit wrong, I believe God's going to be like, okay, I'm going to put the right person in place there or the right person to influence you to bring you back onto the path, and let's keep going. But if you just stay still, you keep planning the perfect path, God's like, yeah, well, come on, let's go. And you're just like, wait. I need to make sure it's perfect. But guess what? There's never going to be a perfect time. There's never going to be perfect scenarios. You're never going to be less busy than you are now. So I really, before we get into the podcast today, I want you to think about the goal or the big dream that you have that you want to achieve in your life. It doesn't have to be fitness and health goals. Like you can have that if you want, but it could be a business goal. It could be a family goal. It could be a relationship goal. It could be a personal goal, whatever it is, hold on to that. And I want you to think about what we're going to say throughout this podcast and think, okay, like why am I not doing it? Like what am I waiting for? Yeah?
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you so much.
This is why it's so important as well to be in check with your emotions, and to, with all of our clients, we encourage them to do weekly check-ins as a part of our coaching. And it's so that each week, at the end of the week, they've got a quick kind of guided journaling process where they fill in the check-in form to check in with themselves. And then obviously we can read their answers to help give feedback too. But that's why it's so important to be in touch with your emotions and what you're feeling day to day, so that okay, if I know that I can have my plans and then God's going to determine the steps, how do we know what those steps are that he's revealing to us?
Yeah.
And it's through your emotions. So the Bible talks about that we got sent the Holy Spirit into us to guide us and to counsel us on what we should do. Like we've got a conscience inside of you. So if you can be connected with your emotions to know, why is that triggering me for jealousy? Or why am I feeling anxious? Like anxiety is not just an emotion that you get randomly. It's like there's going to be things in your life that are causing the anxiety when you think about those things, or maybe you're kind of pushing them deep down to try not to think about them. And that's where you're feeling that uncertain anxiety. You're like, I don't know where it's coming from. And it's like, because you're trying to suppress things. Yeah. So if we can start to bring to light, okay, well, let me sit for a second. Why am I feeling anxious right now? And then if you start to write down why you feel like you might be feeling anxious right now, what are the things you're avoiding? What are the things that are on your mind that you know you should do? What are the problems you need to tackle? What are the goals that you're not pursuing that you know you should be pursuing? And then don't try and think of the 8-step plan along the way. Just think of write down 3 answers for each of those problems that you've written down. What are 3 possible solutions to them right now that I could take?
Yeah.
And then just pick and circle your favorite one and just start on that. And immediately your anxiety will already start to go down the moment you start taking action towards it.
Yeah, I'm the same. As soon as I start on a really difficult task, I just start with writing the title or writing the first program or writing something. The anxiety just reduces so much because I'm like, oh, all I needed to do was start. You build it up in your mind. Like that task can seem so overwhelming. And usually it comes down to that clarity like we were speaking about before. But like I always like to remind a lot of people is you can read about, for example, if your goal is to get fit and healthy, you can read in textbooks about certain exercises. You can look up online on the perfect nutrition plan. But until you step into the gym, it doesn't matter how many books you read about the perfect technique. You actually have to go and try it. So for example, like business, we read a lot of business books. We go to a lot of conferences, but there's no point us going to all these conferences and then coming home and doing absolutely nothing. We actually have to put it into action and make mistakes along the way. Otherwise, what's the point of going to learn when we don't take action from those learnings?
Yeah. And you got to stop researching. Like there's a point where if you have no idea what to do, a little bit of research can help you get a plan. Okay, it's like, okay, I can do A, B, or C. Now I just got to choose A, B, or C and just commit to it and just do it.
Yeah.
Whereas if I keep YouTubing, keep researching, keep trying to find and refine my plan, business books, reading another business book, another one, now I'm overwhelmed because I don't know what to do because there's so many choices to do. And I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Just start.
And so that's where it's like, okay, just pick the most logical, best course of action right now. And then the next one will be revealed to you as you take action on that first one. So just start today, take action. Again, you could be thinking for 2-3 hours about the thing that would only take you half an hour to do. So just get in there and just do the thing. That way you'll free up 3 hours of your day because you've just done it rather than thought about it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is fearing the failure point of things. Like I know for myself, with any big goals we've had in the past or even for the future, the thing that comes into my mind is, what if I do all this work for it and it still doesn't work out and I've wasted time? But what I like to always remind myself is time's going to pass anyway. So for example, if you're like, oh, I want to go back to study at university, but then you're like, oh, I'm already 30. Why am I going to waste 4 or 5 years of my life? But the time's going to pass anyway. So for example, even with this podcast, I remember thinking, but we don't know how to upload to Spotify. Like, how are these mics going to work? What do we even talk about? Like, what topics do people want to hear? But because we just started and then we started to get feedback from people, we started to realize, oh, the audio on the first episode didn't sound too good. Thanks to my dad for pointing that out. Now we know how to fix it. Like we've made mistakes and we're fixing them along the way. If you look back on, I think it was episode 4 or 5, our episode cut out twice and we had to edit it all together. Oh my goodness, that was a hard day. But those are funny mistakes that we've made that we're like, oh, this is good lessons for us to teach people one day, that it hasn't been smooth sailing. And I can actually now envision us being this massive podcast in the future, but I'm also really happy with where we're at now because we've just started. And you know, when you see photos of like, I don't know, is it the owner of Amazon or the, you know,
Jeff Bezos?
Yeah, like you see all those guys, those big CEOs where they started in their garage with their really old laptops and they, you know, they got out of uni or college and they dropped out and they're just starting this big business and now look at it. I like to remind myself of that when I'm really struggling with a new goal. I'm like, oh, like this is going to be the hero story we talk about one day and show people where we started, because no one that you look up to that's achieving the goal that you want to achieve right now started like where they're at now. We've all had those behind the scene moments where they've had to work, you know, in silence with no praise. And then all of a sudden everyone will say, oh, how did you achieve that? Like they're an overnight success. But really it took them like 5-6 years to get there.
I love that. I love what you were saying with failure, because just the way that you're looking at failure is why you're not succeeding for most people, right? Because they're looking at failure as this big thing that they're trying to avoid because they don't want to fail. Where the reality is that the only way you can fail is by stopping. If you don't stop, you cannot fail, right? It's only, I read another book that talked about it's only temporary defeat if you do not stop. Because if you keep going, then you might have a temporary defeat here, but then you win the battle overall because you didn't stop there and you just continued to persist until you did succeed.
Yeah.
Whereas the moment that you fail, it's because you stopped taking action and you're like, oh, I tried that thing and it failed and now I'm a failure and I didn't succeed. Whereas if you tried that thing and then it didn't work, but then you kept going and then it didn't work and then it kept going and then it finally worked, then you succeeded with failures along the way because they were just speed humps, because you didn't let the failures stop you taking action. And so that's where the theme of today's podcast is whatever you're deliberating on, whatever you're knowing that you should be doing in your heart and you're not doing, whatever you're feeling anxious about, whatever you're not succeeding in. So if it is about your body, if it is about trying to exercise, it's about just continuing to persist and just do the thing, even though you may not be feeling like it, even though you might be feeling like you're failing, even though you may not know the entire 8-step plan you should be taking yet. It's like, if you know step 1, take step 1, and step 2 will be revealed to you along the way.
Yeah, I love when I hear you say that, not even just to clients, but you say this a lot to friends where as long as you don't quit, eventually you will win.
Yeah.
Like if you quit, you're already guaranteeing you're not going to win.
Yeah, that's the only way to fail.
You might as well keep going. It may take you longer than you expected. You may make a lot of mistakes, but I think failure comes from really caring, not what you think about yourself, but what other people care about you. And I know you may be thinking, no, I actually don't care what people think about me. We all have that deep inside, and that's okay to feel that way. Use it though, instead of as an anxious fuel, use it as a really motivational fuel to go, okay, like I do care what people think, and that's okay because we do care, we do want to please people, but let's focus more on pleasing yourself, but also pleasing God's plan for your life as well. And I try to always remind myself of that. And I always say this to people, and it sounds a bit brutal, but I'm like, we're all going to die. Like no one is guaranteed immortal. Like, is it immortal? Like, immortal. Like, life, that's going to last forever and ever and ever, unless it's your bubcha probably.
Yeah.
But we're all going to die. And what's going to die with you is the insecurities, the opinions of others. No one cares. If anything, most people are worried about what you're thinking about them instead of what they're thinking about you, if that makes sense. Like, I'm always just trying to remind myself, even if someone does have an opinion about me, which they probably do, I care more about what I think about myself, and I know when I'm stepping into the right thing that God has for me. You know when you feel that sense of peace and everything just starts to flow really well? That's how I know I'm finally stepping into the thing I was supposed to be doing. Like, for example, this podcast. Yes, we've made mistakes, but oh my goodness, do we get excited to record every week? We have not missed an episode because this is the thing that we prioritize now.
Yeah. And the big thing, if you are somebody who is terrified of making mistakes or terrified of failing, then that's where it's so important to have a plan and to have a mentor in that area.
Good point.
To help you past it, right? So even with setting up this podcast, like I spoke to my friends who already are running podcasts. They're already doing the thing that I want to do. So by doing that, I'm like, okay, what equipment do I need? What software do I need? How do I upload it into Spotify? I have no idea how to do that. I only know how to listen to things. So by doing that, it reduced the amount of mistakes that we would make because we talk to people who are mentors in those areas for us, who can just let us fast track it by having a game plan already laid out for us. And so that's really what we do with our clients, is we help give them game plans so that they don't have to go through and fail along the way. So as long as you take action, like that's the first step, is you just have to keep taking action, because you cannot fail if you keep taking action, because then you haven't failed yet, you keep taking action. But as long as you combine it with a good plan or a good mentor who's helping you along the way, then you listen to what they say and you don't be a horrible client or just nobody likes giving advice and then the person just walks away and doesn't follow a single thing you said. Like, it's the worst thing. You've probably had it happen where your friends come up to you, they've got all these struggles they're having in their life. You give them a little bit of advice, you give them your time, and then they walk away and they just do the complete opposite, and you're like, I've just wasted my time with them. Yeah. So what you need to do is figure out whatever the area is of your life that you're wanting to improve right now. Instead of thinking about how do I get there, it's who can I talk to who's already achieved what I want to achieve.
Yep.
Get the plan from them, get the process, and then apply it with aggression. Like, just get into it and just take action. Like, get your sleeves up, messy action. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like you can see in the video version here, we're just in the gym. We've got a plastic table pulled out. We don't even really edit these podcasts because we're just like, you know what? We don't want to have anything that makes us feel overwhelmed and is just going to stop us taking action. So we're just like, let's just take messy action, and then we cannot fail if we just keep taking action. So do the same.
Yeah, I think people get inspired though by vulnerability. Like, we're not perfect.
No, not at all.
And I think that's really good to learn from mentors that can also show you that, first of all, the goal that you have is achievable. Because it's really hard sometimes when you have these big dreams and maybe the people around you go, oh, how is that achievable? And they make you feel a bit small for believing that you could do something big. So that's why we are always trying to go above and beyond and look for people that have already achieved the big goals that we want to achieve. Now, you may not have the funds to be able to purchase and like hire a mentor that has achieved that big goal. But guess what? There are so many YouTube videos out there that we watch of people that have achieved things. We really find the people that have achieved those goals and we go deep. We go, okay, what have they done? What mistakes have they already made as well? And let's just follow exactly what they've done. Now, we may change along the way and go, okay, we actually don't like how they got there, but we like where they've gotten us to. And now we're going to change mentors and go that way, if that makes sense. But I think it's just always about learning from other people, but always believing that it's possible. Right now, if you're stuck and you're not sure, even after having clarity with the steps that you need to make, you may believe that it's not possible you can achieve something, but all those big famous people that are achieving these big goals around you that you're like, wow, how do they do that? They were once in the exact same spot as you. I like to remind a lot of my clients who feel anxious going to the gym, for example, if they feel like someone's judging them about their technique, I always remind them that anyone in the gym was in the exact same position that you were in, like when they first started in the gym. No one started as a perfectionist. No one started as a big gym bro. Like we all started as a beginner. And if anything, people, when they have gotten to a really great stage where they feel confident, look at you and go, oh, I used to be there. Like I wish them well. Maybe I should go help them.
People who work hard aren't the ones who judge people.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
It's the people who aren't taking action who judge other people.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's such a good point I was going to say before is I would say, like, especially in the last 12 months, we have gone to the next level in a lot of areas of our life and just ticked off so many goals that we want to achieve. And we're already putting in place another set of goals we want to achieve in the next 12 months. And since then, there's rarely any moments that I see someone else achieving something that I go, oh, I'm not happy for them because I'm jealous. I actually see everyone achieving things around me, my friends, my client, you, everyone. And I'm like, it makes me so happy to see people achieving goals because I'm working on the goals that God's put in my heart. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love what you were saying in the gym because I think that relates to so many of our listeners who are starting out, who feel anxious about other people judging them. And I love how you were saying that the reality is when you're in the gym and you're looking around thinking, oh no, who's judging me? The reality is that they're thinking the exact same thing about you looking at them. They're thinking, oh, she's judging me. But the biggest thing is that when you get in there, you could be a source of light. Like go in there and realize that you can actually encourage other people because that will dispel the fear in them and it'll help dispel it in you when you do that for somebody else.
Yeah.
So it's the classic of treating other people the way you want to be treated. So if you're seeing someone, if you're in the gym, and you don't have to be amazing to give encouragement. Like you don't have to wait till, oh, I've made it until you can encourage somebody else in the effort you see them putting in. But if you see someone really training hard in the gym, if you see someone who you can tell might be a little bit new, who's like trying to figure things out, you don't have to give advice to help them to do better in the exercise. Like what they actually need is just encouragement to keep going. So you can go up to them and just say, hey, like they might take off their, earphones or headset, whatever they've got. Headset, I'm so old. And then you can just say, hey, I just wanted to say, like, I know you're working hard, that I really love seeing you working that hard. You're inspiring me. That's it. Then you can walk away.
No one's ever going to be like, ew, who are you are you talking to me? Everyone loves a compliment and you never know what kind of day that person's had. That compliment could be the best thing that's happened to them.
Yeah. Or if you've seen someone who's in there all the time when you're in the gym, like go up to them and say like, hey, I know that I've seen you like week in, week out. And I just want to say that you're here every time I come in here. I just want to say that you're so inspiring to me, how you can be so consistent and come in here and just work so hard. Like you just really inspire me. Just do that. It's going to make you feel amazing when you walk away. It's going to make them feel amazing. And like I was saying, if there is a beginner in the gym, you don't have to give them advice on how to lift, but just encouraging them for the effort you see them putting in can be something that helps get rid of some of their fear. And it's like, hey, I know that I'm feeling the exact same way. Don't you worry. It does get better with time.
That's so good. I love that point. And I think what we both try to do a lot, and we've used this quote a lot in our relationship, is be the light.
Yeah.
And we try to be the light in every scenario or every environment or any room that we walk into. We don't want to be influenced by the room, even if it's like a negative room. We want to be the person that when we walk in, we change the atmosphere. We make it very God-led. We make it very much like everyone's encouraged in this room, even if we're not feeling the best. Because why should we not encourage others just because we're like, oh, we're not feeling the best right now, we're not achieving our goals? I'll only encourage people when I've achieved that big goal. I think along that journey, making sure that you're not just being like, oh, I'll be happy when I achieve this big goal. I'll compliment people when I achieve this big goal. I'll do this when X is achieved. It's like, oh, actually, that goal will be achieved whether as long as you keep going, right? But along that journey, let's actually enjoy it. Let's encourage people along the way. Let's inspire people along the way. And let's actually be vulnerable with the journey that we're going on. No one cares if you're perfect. Like, don't just be showing online that, oh, look at this perfect life that I'm living. Look at all these goals that I'm achieving. But really, as you posted that, you were crying. It's like, I actually find strength and I connect personally with people online that share their business journey, share their fitness journey, or share any journey that they're on to achieve a goal. But they're so real about the highs and the lows because it makes me feel like I'm a human. I'm like, oh, like that makes me feel better because I've been struggling over here to reach my goals and they're also struggling, but they're not giving up. Be the person who inspires others through the good, through the bad. And I think that's what we've learned a lot over the last year as well.
Yeah. One of the points that you've written down is that you don't need motivation, that you just need a decision. What does that mean?
Let me read my notes. I think, like stop waiting to feel like you're ready to do something. I know I've been, a victim of this in the past where I'm like, oh, when I feel ready and when I feel really inspired, usually it's around the new year. Yeah. I'm like, oh man, it's on my vision board. Let's go, go, go. But realistically, like if you're listening to this in real time in March right now, or whether it's in August, September, October, whatever you're thinking of, just be like, if I just start, eventually this action will turn into motivation. I hardly feel motivated to do a lot of my things, but what motivates me is when I actually start doing the thing and then I'm like, oh, I'm on a roll now. Let's keep going. A lot of our clients, but then also a lot of people around me are waiting for that light bulb moment or that moment of like, I don't know, like this big ray of light around them where they feel like angels are bringing them up and they're like, I'm ready to start. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
That big, I need 2 weeks off to really start my goal. And then, I've heard a joke once where someone said, I think it was on TikTok though, they're like, I just need like a few months in jail where I have nothing else to think about and I can just really focus on my fitness and health. I'm like, that is really not the goal, is it? I think you just need to start.
Yeah. Just stop thinking. Like get out of your head and get into your body.
Yep.
Like whatever you're doing, like I guarantee that you will carve out so much more time in your days if you just commit after this podcast. Okay, you know what? Enough thinking, Melissa. Like, I'm just going to take action. Like, enough thinking, Janusz. Just take action. Like, what is the first, if you had to take action on it right now, today, what would you do? And just start. If it helps, put your phone in another room, put a timer on, and then you're not allowed to leave that desk until you start and just take that first action.
Yes, Jerry Seinfeld, a comedian that I love, he has a thing where every single day he sits at his desk and in front of him is just a plain wall. There's no distraction in his room. And he has to write for 2 hours his comedic jokes. Now, if he can't think of anything to write, he will just sit there for 2 hours. There'll be no phone distractions, nothing. He can either write for 2 hours or he just sits there. So it kind of makes him go, okay, on really great days when I'm feeling like I'm on a roll, I write heaps of jokes. On other days, I don't get to just, if I'm not feeling it, go on my phone and just relax. It's either you write or you do absolutely nothing.
And that reminds us of majority of our workout, maybe not majority, but half of our workouts, we commit to the time. Like, because we don't think about it and then end up wasting the time. We're like, oh, now I don't have time to go to the gym. It's like, get out of your head and just get straight to the gym. Now, when you get to the gym, maybe you just walk in the treadmill for a bit and that's all you do for the session because you were just too overwhelmed or anything. But at least you carved out the time to just get there.
Yep.
So then tomorrow when you get to the gym and you're there, showing up to the gym, maybe you do get a good session this time. So it's not always going to be your best session in the gym. Like nobody has that. Nobody has that. Like we all, even if you look at the most professional areas of any sport, they still rock up to training sessions where it's just a just get it done session. And so if you just carve out and commit to the action of just going to the gym, then that way you can at least get through a bit of a half-assed workout, or you can at least just do 2 or 3 exercises like we were talking on one of the other podcasts. But one of the things that I wrote is creating positive addictions.
Yes.
Okay, so there are actually, believe it or not, people who are addicted to exercise, where they feel compelled to want to go and exercise. And so you can create these positive addictions in your life so that you feel compelled to take action in those areas and it feels weird not taking action. Now, the way that you do that is you're not just hoping that you're that type of person. You create those positive addictions. Just like negative addictions, you also created those by accident. You can now purposefully create positive addictions. Now, addictions, they don't come from just randomness. It's not just like, oh, you were predetermined to be a gambler, and now you're a gambler and you're addicted to gambling, or now you're addicted to drugs or alcohol. Like, addictions always come by taking action. And so the more you take that action, the more addicted you become to the thing. So if you gamble, the more you gamble, the more you gamble, the more you gamble, the more addicted you get to it. And it's the exact same for positive addictions. So any area of your health that you want to work on, you don't get addicted straight away. Just like you don't get motivated straight away. The first workouts you do, you just have to rough it for 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes a little bit longer, to just get into that momentum state. And then once you've got momentum, once you start to build positive addictions in your life, then it's going to feel weird not reading if that was one of your goals. It's going to feel weird not going to the gym. It's going to feel weird not going for your daily walk. It's going to feel weird not doing the things you know you should be doing because you've formed these positive addictions in your life. So just think about whatever area you want to improve in your life right now, create positive addictions by taking action in those areas. And if you really want to get addicted quickly, the more you do the thing, the more you get addicted. So don't just train twice a week. Like do it 4, 5, 6 days a week, 20 or 30 minutes a day, and then start to build on those things. But the more you start to lean into the thing, the more addicted you become in a good way, as long as you're picking the thing that you're being addicted to is a good thing.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And I like to tell clients that a lot too is, depending on the season that you're in, you may need to prioritize other like addictions, like maybe your health and fitness over other areas of your life, just to make sure that you're really immersed in it and you really create this new identity of someone who is addicted to really healthy habits. Like we can all look at that word addiction in a more of a negative way and go, oh, like it's really bad to be addicted to sugar and all these different things. But what's the opposite look like when you're addicted to living a really good, healthy lifestyle? And when you're addicted, you never want to stop it, like you said. I think another thing I want to talk about as well is the cost of not doing and achieving the goal that you want to achieve. Yeah. And I know with our clients, we talk a lot about their health and fitness goals is, hey, if you don't change now the habits that you're currently doing, in 5 years' time, life won't look the same, as in your health still won't be the same as it is today. It will be worse because you're multiplying all these bad habits by 5 years. So it's actually you're going to be in a worse state than you are today. And it's good to remind yourself of okay, well, if I have this big goal that I'm wanting to achieve, if in 5 years' time I still haven't done it, what is the cost of that? Is it I'm not able to take some time off to go on a holiday with my family?
Are you even here?
Oh, that's
Are you dead?
Yeah, exactly. Are you here? You may be thinking you can survive anything and you're invincible. But realistically, our bodies are working really hard for us. But if you're putting your body under so much strain, so much stress, what's it going to look like? Are you going to wait until the doctor tells you you've only got a few months to live, you're too sick, now you need to go on all this medication, now you need to go to the gym to survive, not just go there for fun? Are you going to wait till that moment? Or are you going to prevent it before it happens? I don't look at my training, for example, or my healthy eating as only looking good. It's about my longevity. How am I feeling? What kind of mother will I be one day? What kind of wife do I want to keep being? I want to be around to see all my family grow up as well. I want to live a really healthy life, but it doesn't start when I start achieving all those things. It starts now. So really think about if I don't start now, what's my life going to look like? If you're struggling financially, for example, and the goal that you want to achieve is actually going to help you get out of that one day. It may not help you now, but one day it will. What if you don't do that? What's it going to look like down the road? Are you going to be extra stressed? Probably. And it's just about also thinking about the relationships you have. If you right now, maybe with your partner, maybe you guys are having a few bickering moments and your goal is to have the best marriage or the best relationship you've ever had, or with your kids. If you're not getting along right now, that might be okay for a week or two. But what's going to happen 5 years down the track? These are the things to think about. The compound effect of every choice you're making is not going to look the same 5-10 years down the track. It's going to expand either positively or negatively.
You can either listen to the whispers of life, right? So this is linking back to what I was talking about before, about checking in with yourself, listening to those emotions, listening to the anxieties, listening to the things that are coming up inside of you and stirring inside of you. You can either listen to the whispers of life, or life's going to throw a brick at the back of your head and then you'll listen. So are you waiting for life to have to throw a brick at you till you start taking action, till you start working on your marriage, till you start working on your fitness, till you start eating better? Are you waiting for something drastic to happen in your life to change the direction? Or are you going to start listening to your inner desires, to the whispers in your heart, right? To the emotions that you're feeling.
Yeah.
Like when you're feeling that pull that, oh, I really should get up and go do that thing. Or I really should go to the gym. Listen to those whispers before they have to become a brick hitting you in the back of the head.
Such a good point. Yeah, we've heard that on a few podcasts, and that's a really good point. That always when I hear that, I think, oh yeah, like what am I waiting for? When is the perfect moment? And I don't want to wait until that brick is thrown at my head.
Because you're right. Like what you were saying before, it only gets harder.
Yeah.
Because we start to delude ourselves, first of all, thinking that we've got heaps of time. You don't. Like time continuously moves on. It moves on without you. It's not waiting for your goals. It's not waiting for you to lose weight. It's not waiting for you to get fitter. It's just going to keep moving.
Yeah.
And with time continuously moving, if you're not getting stronger, if you're not getting fitter with exercise, you're only going to get more tired. You're only going to get weaker. You're only going to have less, time in your relationship. You're only going to have a worse condition to work on your goals.
Yep.
So today is always the best time to take action on whatever it is that you're deliberating on, because it is the best time to do it. It's the only time to do it. Like you can't do it tomorrow because tomorrow is not guaranteed.
Yeah.
And I can't worry about the past because the past has already happened. So today, like this moment, like what you're listening to right now, this is the only moment you have to take action is right now. Like you just have to take action. So whatever your goals are, like we talked about in the goal setting podcast, episode 1, that there's a difference between when people are setting goals versus just dreaming about something.
Yeah.
And so when somebody's dreaming about a list of goals, you might have written some dreams at the start of the year. The reason they're called dreams and not goals is because you haven't taken any actions towards them. Whereas if you write down a goal, what makes it a goal is that you've now not just made it a dream by writing down what you want, but you've now made a little action step plan where it's like, okay, what's the first thing I can do to take action to make that goal a reality?
Yep.
And then the moment you start taking action towards it, it's now a goal you're working towards. Otherwise, we all have lists of dreams that we've got. We all wish we could be fit. We all wish we could have like a Lamborghini. We all wish we could have these things. But if you haven't got evidence of action that you're taking towards those things, then they're just dreams. They're just wishes. You don't actually want it. You don't actually have them as goals.
Yeah. I think people like to live in the delusion of, but we only live once, Mel. I should just enjoy and eat the donuts and we're all going to die anyway. And they just kind of have that mentality, which I think is a very weak mentality, because I think on my side where I love to live a healthy life and I love to live a life of discipline, and I actually am a better person, and I feel like it's a much better life to live on this side. We like to convince ourselves that being lazy, watching movies all day, eating whatever we want, and, being weak is actually the best life to live. And like they're living the life that, that they really want to, which is like, you really aren't. And deep down that's probably not the life, but people are scared to go into the hard and go, okay, this is actually going to be a harder life to begin with, to choose different habits. But I always remind myself that anything worth having in life is always hard. And I like to choose my hard. My hard is those daily habits that end up being like leading to great results, instead of the hard choosing me, where it's like those bricks hitting you in the head, doctors telling you that you've only got 6 months to live, having to be on medication for the rest of my life. I don't want to live that life. And I like to look around the people that I surround myself with sometimes and go, okay, well, what are the habits of those people? And what kind of life are they living? If I like the life they're living, I look at them and go, okay, what are those habits? Are they someone who trains? Probably. Are they someone who gets the work done and meal preps, whatever it is? Probably. But then look at the people that you really don't aspire to be like. What are the habits they have? They're probably, putting everyone else first and not putting themselves first. They're probably, overeating and having that gluttonous kind of diet. Like there's so many habits that we should always be thinking of. But I just want to remind you that we really need to challenge ourselves, because we only have one life and we deserve to go all in. Yes, balance is good. We have donuts in that all the time and have that balance. But we're majority of the time really healthy.
Yeah. And I feel like people don't know what it's like on the other side.
Yeah, it's good.
Just because you hate something on the other side now, like you might hate exercise, you might hate eating healthy now, doesn't mean you're always going to hate it. Like that will change, and they don't know how much more amazing, how much more energy you feel when you do these things. So one of my clients, her name's Jackie.
We love Jackie.
We love Jackie. What I love about Jackie is that she just took action. Like she's not young. I don't want to guess her age, but she's older. But she saw that her father passed away.
Yeah.
And it was because he just started to decay. He got weak. He couldn't move around very easily. Like his legs just started to decay and he just got sick. And it was just because he had just years of neglect. And so she was going down the same path. It was scaring her. Her knees, like she had just really bad knees at the moment.
Yeah.
And he's struggling to do any just tasks with her legs. So as we started training, she can now do lunges again. She can now do all of these leg exercises. She came back from Africa recently, a safari.
Yes.
And my favorite thing she said to me was, I was able to put my bag in the overhead lockers by myself.
Yeah, well, how beautiful was that?
She's now built so much strength in her body from doing weights only 2 to 3 times a week, like following a good nutrition plan to focus on losing the body weight.
Yep.
And so she's improved her health by losing body fat, by improving the strength in her legs. So now she can go upstairs again. She can do lunges and pick things up off the floor. She was able to like change in her gardening. She was deadlifting and saying, hey, I was deadlifting some sandbags the other day, just putting some manure on all of the flowers and things. And she's starting to realize, wow, like she still doesn't love exercise yet, but she loves the feeling she's having in her day-to-day life as a result of eating well and of training. Like she's realizing those aches and pains are going away. She's realizing the strength in her legs coming back. She's realizing how easy life is getting, how much more energy she's having.
Yep.
Because she's just decided, okay, I'm not going to whinge about, oh, I should have started 20, 30, 40 years ago when I was younger. Remember, you only have today. You don't have the future. You don't have the past. You can only take action today. So what I'm trying to say from this is just start now. You're not too old. Start now. You're not too young. Start now. Like whatever it is, start now. Take action today, and then the steps will be revealed along the way. So just take action.
That's so great. I love that she was inspired by, the decisions her father made and what it led to as well. And I find it interesting as well. A lot of people get inspired after they go to a funeral or when they go to a hospital and see someone really sick and they're like, oh, I actually have 2 legs I can work. That works every day for me. I have lungs in my breath. I have air in my lungs that I get to be blessed with every day, and I get to achieve all these things, but I'm wasting my time. If you feel like you're wasting your life, then it's time to just make a big step. Now, we're not saying right now to be like, okay, in a day's time, everything's going to change, but write that one goal down and go, okay, what's the first step I can take? And if you don't know, find someone who's already achieved that goal and go follow those steps. Another point I wanted to talk about as well is the comparison to other people. Stop comparing your beginning to someone's finished product or their middle product. Like I know for myself, like I was saying before with this podcast, I was looking at all these big podcasts like Diary of a CEO, Mel Robbins, and I'm like, wow, they're in big studios. We should do that. And it's like, yeah, but they also started in like a shed. Like they didn't start where they are now that we all see on YouTube and Spotify. So we've got to stop comparing to other people and remember that most people are only sharing their wins and highlights of life. And we are all comparing our lows to their highs because with social media these days, we are seeing this every hour of every day. As much as you can have limits with social media, we're in everyone's lives without even realizing it. Like I know what is going on with my friend's auntie's cousin, like before I know the actual person. Like I know so much about other people's lives and we shouldn't, but it's just the way that we live. But again, most people are only sharing their wins when realistically, it takes a lot to get a win. There's a lot of lows and a lot of negative things that happen and a lot of challenges to get there. And I'm always trying to remind myself of that. So like if you're looking at us right now going, wow, like they've got a podcast going, their business is thriving, their marriage is great, all this stuff. I would agree with you. They are. However, when we first got married, I cried for the first month because I was like, I miss my room and my mum. Like it was so overwhelming for me. It was such a big change. But we've developed our relationship so much in our marriage over the last 5 years. With our podcast, we're on episode 12. I can guarantee this time next year when we're on episode, whatever it is going to be, we'll look back on this.
105.
Maybe. Good math. We'll look back on this and be like, oh, how sad. Or remember us in our little garage or in the gym studio, how funny that used to look. And we'll look back on that one day. But I love that we've got so much documentation and, experience and history of how we've gotten to the stage that we want to get to. So what I'm trying to say here is just start messy, like we said before, and then just figure it out along the way. You're not supposed to be perfect because no one's perfect. And you will get there eventually. If anything, you're going to change the goal along the way and it's going to be better than you ever imagined. And that's how great God is. I know for myself, I have these big goals in life, and Janos, my husband, turned out better than I ever could have imagined. The life we live, Janos, the life we live has turned out way better than I've ever imagined. Our goal last year was to have a baby. That didn't turn out, but I know God has a great plan for us and I believe in that. So it's just always about going, okay, something hasn't worked out, but as long as I keep taking the steps and actions and follow those whispers in my heart, I will eventually get there, and it's probably going to be better than I ever imagined.
Yeah, and remember, you don't get an extra gold star for doing it alone. Like, you don't get extra rewards by trying to figure it out alone, by trying to, whatever it is that you're struggling with. Remember, I said the quickest shortcut to find the way is, instead of figuring out how can I achieve my goal, it's who can I talk to achieve my goal. So find the who, don't figure out the how. So it's just like, if you can't figure out the how, if you don't know how, if you haven't studied sports science, if you haven't studied all of these different things, then find the who. Yep. So if you're somebody who's listening to this today and you're realizing, I've been neglecting my health for a little bit, I need a bit of help with it. If you want help with it, you can reach out to us. In the show notes, we put a link where you can apply to work for us, work
Maybe
with
one
us, right? And so you can just fill that out. It'll have some questions about what your goals are. Why are those your goals? What are you struggling with? And then you can get on a call with me or Mel, so we can talk to you and figure out, okay, what is the game plan to help you get through this? And if it seems like we could work together and we could help you with those goals, then you can work with us. And that way we give you an exact game plan to achieve your goals that suits the time availability you have, that suits your lifestyle, so that you've got something custom and tailored for you. So now all you need to do is just take action on that game plan, or in those weekly check-ins, we're prompting you to do everything we're talking about today so that we can change the plan for you if something's not working. So if you're ready to take action, go to probodylifestyle.com/apply, or in the show notes, there's the link to apply to work with us from there. And just remember, you don't have to do it alone, and it doesn't have to be forever. You don't need coaching forever.
Yep.
You just need it for a season to help you get from step 0 where you are to get to step 8. So you're like, okay, I've lost the weight. I've built momentum. I've got muscle. I've become low-key addicted to exercise now. And now you can start to do it yourself. I always tell people that, your mum's probably not there every night right now calling you up, figuring out hey, Mel, are you brushing your teeth? Did you brush your teeth yet?
My mum does. I'm kidding.
Right? Because you have to have that external motivation to start with, the external accountability to kickstart your journey. When you're a kid, you don't have internal motivation to want to brush your teeth. So you need external motivation to start.
Great point.
But eventually that external motivation, once you start getting results, once you start getting momentum, once you start liking the feeling of how you're feeling when you're achieving your goals, it turns into internal motivation, where a really cool thing happens, where now your mum doesn't need to call you every night to see if you brush your teeth. You want to do it yourself because you love the way it makes you feel.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think the biggest thing and biggest takeaway from this episode is just thinking about future you. Is future you in 6 months' time or 12 months' time going to be really happy with the choices you're making today? Or are they going to wish that you made a change today? And I'm always trying to remind myself of that. It may be annoying to do all these habits today. It may be annoying to sit down and, instead of going on Netflix, work on something that you're not even sure if it's going to work out. But as long as you keep taking small steps and actions over the next 6 to 12 months, guess what? In 12 months' time, you're going to be so thankful you started in this moment right now. And stop thinking that you haven't done it in the past. You haven't achieved these goals in the past. Who cares? All you can do, like Janos said, is focus on today and focus on every step ahead of you for the days to come.
Yeah. So guys, go out there, take action today. What is the small thing you can do today? Whether it's applying to work with us, whether it's just going for a walk, whether it's eating something healthy for your body. What is the one thing you can do today? What is the one task you're putting off that you can do today? There's no excuse. Take action on it in the smallest way possible. So maybe you don't have time today to do an entire workout, but just when you get home after you've listened to this podcast, just do some push-ups, do some squats, do some sit-ups. That's it. It doesn't have to be something crazy. It's just taking action every day. Small action leads to massive change over time.
I agree. Well, guys, we hope you loved this episode. If you think it will inspire someone else who isn't taking action and wants to achieve a goal, please send it to them and share the love. Share us on social media. We absolutely love it. Put a comment down below on Spotify or YouTube. We appreciate it so much, and we hope you all live the pro body lifestyle.
Got it that time.